A large portion of the penultimate episode of House of the Dragon was taken up with the hunt for Prince Aegon in Fleabottom so that he could be made the king. Alicent and her father Otto both wanted that. So why did they compete with each other in trying to get him first? Hi everyone, this is Robert. Welcome to Deep Geek. On this channel we cover A Song of Ice and Fire, The Lord of the Rings and much more. If you love in-depth discussion of great fantasy and science fiction, then please consider clicking the subscribe button in the bottom right of your screen. This video was produced in collaboration with the wonderful History of Westeros. Please check out their channel. There's a link in the description. After the death of King Viserys on House of the Dragon, the members of the Green faction are in agreement that Alicent's son Aegon should be king. However, they disagree so completely on how the matter should be handled that it turns into a contest of sorts between Alicent and Otto over who can find the missing Aegon first, and therefore take control of the next steps in getting him crowned. Otto sends Eric and Arik Cargill, telling them to bring Aegon to him and not tell Alicent, and Alicent sends Kristen Cole and Aemond, telling them Aegon should be brought to her, not Otto. It's simultaneously a race and a hunt. But why? What are the actual dividing lines here? Well, there seem to be two main items of contention. The timing of the coronation and the matter of Rhaenyra and her claim, and by extension her life and that of her children and husband. Alicent believes the coronation should be above board and immediate, to give no impression of subterfuge or that a coup has taken place. She aims for legitimacy, to present the accession of Aegon as the wish of the king himself, as she herself believes he decreed on his deathbed. That makes it legal. Alicent does not want bloodshed between the factions. King Viserys the Peaceful would never have wanted that, and she wants that virtuous wish of his to be upheld as well. But if it does come to violence, they will not be looked on as the usurpers. Rhaenyra will. On the other hand, Otto wants to delay the coronation to gain an advantage by alerting their allies, seizing the treasury and attempting to assassinate Rhaenyra and her family before word gets out that the king is dead. If they act before Dragonstone gets the news, they can be taken unawares. Think back to A Game of Thrones when Robert Baratheon died and Renly urged Ned to seize Joffrey because controlling the king meant controlling the kingdom. Rule through Joffrey was a bit more certain in that case because he was a minor and couldn't legally take the throne in full, but his regent and hand could pass laws and make decrees in his name. Aegon is not a child like Joffrey was, but still that's an important factor here as well. Alicent has a good chance of convincing her son to rule in her favour on just about any issue. The only interaction we've really seen between Otto and Aegon is when Otto kicked him while he was passed out at Driftmark. Meanwhile, Alicent, well, she's his mother, and she's rather dominating towards him. Otto knows all this. If his daughter gets Aegon first, she can crown him, and the king can, in turn, start giving orders counteracting his plans before they can bear fruit. More than that, King Aegon could fire the entire small council, or just order Otto to make peace as best he can, or whatever he wants, really. He'd be the king, and that's the point. Otto and the council made a lot of plans for this day, well in advance, in secret. The new king could order them to stop. But technically he isn't the king until he's had a coronation. He can't issue rulings or force them to stop until he's been crowned. Hence the reason Otto wants to delay. For the moment, no one can order him around. As Hand of the King, he can still speak for the monarch. Alicent can only make moves to stop him. She ceased to be queen when her husband died. She is now just the Dowager Queen. Otto starts out by using this power to simply ignore his daughter's wishes. She clearly didn't want Rhaenyra to be harmed, but Otto went ahead and ordered Harold Westerling to sail to Dragonstone and kill Rhaenyra and her family. The Lord Commander responds with a technicality that illustrates this point well. If there's no king, no one can order the Lord Commander to do anything. Which is what leads to the race to find Aegon. If Alicent gets to her son first, she can try to convince him not to order anyone's deaths. If Otto gets to Aegon first, he can try to sway the king as to why bloodshed is necessary. We saw how convincing he was to a much younger Alicent and to a much older Viserys, and Aegon, so far, hasn't exactly shown a lot of spine. Otto surely could have persuaded him. Still, All of this does rely on Aegon's cooperation when he's caught. His mother can tell him what to do, but once he's king, he doesn't have to listen to her. The same goes with Otto. Neither of them truly know what he's going to do once he's crowned. Given Aegon's reaction to the coronation, going from reluctant to excited, well, before it was interrupted, but just before that, it looked like he was starting to come around on this whole being king business after all. He liked that cheering crowd. Joffrey also loved a cheering crowd, and even though he was still in his minority, and even though his mother the Queen had it all planned out very differently, Ned Stark was executed instead of having him sent to the wall. Now, Otto's plan to delay is somewhat similar to how they do it in Fire and Blood. There they conceal the news of Viserys' death for as long as possible, writing letters and getting as much initiative as possible on their enemies. A major difference is that Alicent is completely on board with it in the book version, so there's no need to compete for control of Aegon, nor does he try to run off, though he does require convincing. As for how the hunt plays out on the show, Alicent recognises her father's advantage in sending Sir Eric to find her son because he's his personal Kingsguard. Sir Eric knows the places Aegon spends his time and brings his twin brother to assist. In response, Alicent sends Sir Criston, relying more on his zeal and loyalty to her than his knowledge of the underbelly of Fleabottom, and Prince Aemond offers to join, saying he's got some idea of where his brother likes to go. As it turns out, both need to rely on a third party to find out exactly where Aegon is. Mysaria, the White Worm, had previously taken notice of the prince's frequent excursions into the city and his propensity for drinking himself into unconsciousness. She showed this same observant tendency in episode 4 when collecting a certain Prince Daemon, also quite drunk, and depositing him in a bed. She was cordial to Daemon, her former lover, but to Otto she was threatening, reminding him how easy it is to kill men who are passed out and alone, even princes, even kings. But she was happy to accept money and a political favour for the children of the illegal underground fighting pits in exchange for Aegon's whereabouts. No killing necessary, this time. Unfortunately for Otto, Criston Cole and Aemond spotted this conversation and simply absconded with Aegon after a quick crossing of swords between Sir Eric and Criston Cole. Sir Criston won that exchange, while Aemond easily scooped up his fleeing but still hungover brother. Sir Eric, meanwhile, simply walked away, having decided to defect to Rhaenyra, moved by years of mounting disgust at Prince Aegon. We suppose finding the prince hiding under the altar of the mother instead of being crowned was the last straw for him. So Otto not only lost his money, quite a bit of dignity and a Kingsguard knight to defection, he also lost the race for Aegon. With her son in hand, Alicent held the coronation the next day. No subterfuge, full accord and acclaim, lots of witnesses, the crown of the conqueror, Blackfire itself, Septon Eustace's prayers and invocations. It certainly had the look of legitimacy and legality. And on their way to the coronation, in his last moments before becoming king, Alicent implored Aegon to avoid violence with Rhaenyra, but it remains to be seen if he'll listen to her or not. He didn't exactly give a straight answer. In a final irony, in their efforts to control Aegon and use him as a vessel to power, Otto and Alicent have managed to elevate him above them, showing him the true power of a king, power of life and death over political opponents and even family members, and the undoubted rush of thousands cheering and acclaiming you as king. And his coronation was just violently interrupted. Who knows how he'll react to that sort of provocation? Alicent may have won the race to control her son, but ironically, she no longer has control over him. This video was joint produced with the excellent History of Westeros. Please check out the link in the description for more from them. If you'd like to see more A Song of Ice and Fire videos, please click on the link appearing now on the left of your screen. Or to support this channel and get access to exclusive Deep Geek content, please click on the link to Patreon on the right of your screen. That's all for this time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon.